Welcome, age of vintage society. Love is a powerful emotion. For the people you truly love, getting over them is a difficult task. Even though he was a god on the screen, Burt Reynolds also felt that loss of love. No one is immune. Did Burt Reynolds regret what he did to Sally Fields? I hope you know, my viewers, how much I appreciate you. Thank you for your generous comments and for the Patreons. This channel would not have been successful without you. Big thanks to those who watched the video right to the end. Subscribe if you are new here. And if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Burt Reynolds was an unrepentant ladies' man as he tore through women like a lion through its helpless prey. It was easy to fall for Burt with his apparent masculinity, charisma and overflowing swagger. Apart from this, he radiated a certain intensity not many men can match. He was simply irresistible. To love the man seemed to embrace excitement which he had in abundance. The dating roulette began as we know it began with celebrity Lori Nelson, an actress who got popular for her role in the film Revenge of the Creature. Reportedly, the sparks of emotions were intense between the two, and it led to a proposal in 1960. Even as he proposed, Burt still mulled marrying the actress over as he struggled with the commitment that would come with marrying. The two ultimately ended things. He did cross the line and committed enough to Judy Kahn, but it was a short marriage. The two married after a 6-month courtship and didn't last more than 3 years together. However, it didn't seem like the two parted on the best terms as, according to the Washington Post, when Judy got into legal troubles in 1970, her ex-husband ignored her. At the time, he was the hottest actor in Hollywood, a real money-maker. Spin, spin, and the relationship roulette fell on Inga Stevens, a delightful blonde bombshell. Burt has exquisite taste in women. The beautiful Swedish-American didn't enter into a relationship with Reynolds. What they had was a fling, a passion of two bodies burning with desire and fulfilling that desire. Their dalliance didn't spill over from the film they were in together, Run, Simon, Run. High on jive, but low on substance. This was how Mamie Van Doren described Burt Reynolds. Mamie, a sex symbol that was the dream of many men in Hollywood, and the audience had a romantic relationship with Burt. Their relationship was brief, and Doren left it unimpressed by Burt. It seemed like blondes had a special resistance to Burt's charm. Miko Miyama, the Japanese-American actress, dated Reynolds, his co-star in 1969's Impasse, and the two wouldn't last long, as another woman entered the picture. Reynolds met Dinah Shore, and he decided Miko wasn't the woman for him any more. However, he was partly a gentleman, as he told Miko he loved another woman. He also offered her money and a house. Miko accepted it, so it wasn't a complete loss for her. Dinah Shore was older than Burt by 20 years when they met. She was a media hotshot with her TV personality role. What he felt for the woman was intense and perhaps the strongest emotion he had felt for any woman in his life at that time. Dinah hosted the actor on her show, Dinah's Place. It was going fine before Burt suddenly realized he wanted a child. Burt's desire was strong, yet it looked like it was an excuse at the time. He knew Dinah couldn't give birth at her age. Sometimes it's easier to think he wanted to leave the relationship, although in fairness Reynolds spoke fondly of the actress, even years after they broke up, and praised her, saying there was no one better than her. He spoke about her positive nature. He said, "I never ever heard her say anything bad about anybody. Ever. I don't know how she did it." His relationship with Chris Evert was the opposite of his and Dinah's. The tennis star was younger than him. Her fierce attraction to Burt made her compromise her philosophy about relationships and casual relationships. On her philosophy, she said, "It's a cinch to meet men, but tough to have a real relationship." Burt was an exception to the rule, she said. If Burt likes you, he really takes good care of you. Successful women aren't a threat to him, and I think that's what attracted me to him. Burt went through many other women. Some stayed longer than others, and one he married, Laurie Anderson. It was a marriage the two would regret, but perhaps Burt even more so. He had to part with a substantial amount of his wealth in alimony payments. Like every other relationship, the beginning was bright, but it turned sour after a while, although the two kept up appearances of perfection until they couldn't. The two met on the Merv Griffin show and took a liking to each other. They went on dates and they became Hollywood's latest couple. They went to every event together, red carpet events or a drive through the city. They were in love and they displayed it. They didn't rush marriage, and after 6 years of dating the two married, with Bert providing one of the most expensive wedding rings for his bride. Bert called himself a lucky man for marrying the damsel Anderson and even adopted her son Quinton. On Anderson's part she called Bert her Prince Charming, but the charm didn't last long. After 5 years Reynolds slammed divorce papers on his wife. Part of the allegations was Anderson cheated on him, and he claimed to have caught her at it. Bert at this time had also been finding himself in the pants of other women, but he had a defence. The man claimed he only cheated as a response to Anderson's cheating, so his cheating was due to provocation from his soon-to-be ex-wife. Bert wanted to hurt Anderson, and he took her to the cleaners, publicly calling her a bad mother. Then he went on to further reveal something truly shocking. Out of the 5 years of their marriage, it turned out that they only had sex during the first 2. The remaining 3 got their pleasures from cheating on each other. Bert, making the revelation, said, "I don't see how she can be in total shock when you have not. If your husband has not touched you in the biblical sense in almost 3 years, how can you be surprised?" Anderson didn't reply to Bert's media rants. She kept things cool and revealed later she knew Bert wanted a war, but she wouldn't give him the satisfaction of being in one with him. The intense testimony that the proceedings required took away some of Bert's voice, but he still managed to rant at public members. He said he was happy to have made the newspaper headlines and that people were curious about his divorce proceedings. Soon the judge slammed Reynolds with costly alimony payments which Bert would breach from time to time. The two resented each other for a while, but their son helped them let go of the hurt. Still, Bert regretted his marriage to her, but it was Bert. His life was one of regrets, and one of his biggest regrets would be about the one who got away. It would be wrong to say she got away. Bert pushed her till she went away. Typical of Bert, but hurtful for Sally. Who is Sally? You'll see. Burt Reynolds, born as Burton Leon Reynolds on February 11, 1936 in Lansing, Michigan, to Burton Milo Reynolds, a soldier, and Harriet Fannette Fern, the family moved to Florida, where his father joined law enforcement, and he grew to become an athlete at Florida State University. He was a talented footballer, but his career ended early after a car accident. He also injured his knee in that accident. The loss of his athletic ability had him drop out of college, and he decided to become an actor. So out of college he got odd jobs, the occasional theatre and TV roles. Hollywood snapped him up after one of his stage performances, and he got a TV contract that had him play different TV roles. One of the most prominent ones is Gunsmoke. His quality shone through, and he got his own show, Hawk. He was active on the scene of Western films, usually playing the role of half Indian and half American. Navajo Joe, Sam Whiskey, and 100 Rifles in 1969 are some of the films he acted in. However, none of these films reached the heights of Deliverance. He showed his stuff in that film with the tough guy role he played. He subsequently became the top box office star for 4 years. He shared the top stage with Bing Crosby. A new star had been made, and you know what often follows this in Hollywood. Debauchery. Reynolds became someone people wanted to be around. With his physical features he wooed women and had different relationships, but the woman he loved the most was not the woman he married. She was the love of my life, Bert said many years after their split, and for Bert this may have been the truth. At least he maintained this statement till he died. However, Sally didn't share these sentiments. He was not someone I could be around. He was just not good for me in any way, she said. So between these two, the question on the lips of many is, what went wrong? The two met on the set of Smokey and the Bandit. Bert leveraged his influence to ensure that she got a role in the film. He had told the filmmakers to cast Sally Fields, but they initially declined, saying she wasn't sexy enough. However, Reynolds insisted. He replied that talent is sexy. He was right. Fields had talent in abundance. The film dragged Reynolds into the limelight. Before then she was just another actress. She had racked a considerable amount of years being on TV with The Flying Nun, which ran for 3 years. She didn't feel satisfied with what she had and only felt like she was surviving, but being on Smokey and the Bandit helped make her a popular talent. The two entered a relationship that wasn't as glamorous as it looked. The actress had fallen hard for Bert. His charm trapped her, that even though they hadn't known each other for long, it felt like they had met somewhere before, as they were in sync. Their on-screen persona melted into the off-screen one, as the two fell in love with their film and real life. On their connection, she said, it was instantaneous, and 4 days felt like 4 years. He told the actress sweet things that made her feel sexy, but came at a price. She began to do things specifically because she wanted him to praise her. Her devotion to him allowed her to easily accept his suggestion that she should take the lead role in Norma Ray. She won her first Oscar for that role. However, in her devotion to Bert, the actress claimed she lost a sense of who she was. The actress likened her situation to her being non-existent. Everything was Bert every day. However, Bert couldn't leash his wandering member, and he went to have an affair or affairs. He didn't have the decency to be discreet, and was so brazen that Field's grandmother was able to gather evidence using the newspaper. The two ended their relationship, but there is unresolved emotion on Bert's part. In his interview about his regret for losing Sally, Bert called himself stupid. He also revealed that he hadn't gotten over it, despite the fact that they had ended their relationship decades past. Bert revealed he had met the right person, but he messed everything up, although he wanted to marry her and proposed to her at different times. He wanted to have kids with her and claimed to have fear, but never explained why he had the fear. After an interview after Bert died, Sally noticed this and revealed that she didn't want to accept his proposal, as she felt his heart wasn't in it, and they wouldn't have enjoyed the marriage. His marriage to Anderson proved what she said. Sally Fields accused Bert of being a controlling man. She attributed this to his fame, which she claimed was a means to control people, and she was always part of the people he controlled. However, she blamed her ease of getting controlled on the relationship she had with her stepfather. She claimed Bert easily controlled her because in her head she had pledged her soul to him. Bert didn't see it this way. In the interview he gave before Sally gave hers, he only saw himself as a guide. He revealed that he was only trying to guide her, and emphasized that the feeling of loss he had when their relationship failed still lingered. However, unlike Anderson, who he made up with before he died, Sally gave him no such luck. After being in 4 movies together and sharing a relationship, Bert hoped sentiment would be on his side, but sadly it wasn't. Since they ended the relationship, the two didn't see each other, and Sally rebuffed all of Bert's attempts to reach her. Bert revealed he never spoke to her and would love to speak with her. Sally had a different view on things. She believed she wasn't as important to Reynolds as Reynolds was trying to portray. She believed Reynolds only insisted or told himself that he loved her because she was the thing he couldn't have. Even though their communication had broken down, Sally wrote a beautiful eulogy for him. She mentioned his impact on her life, and that the time that she and Bert spent together was special and hadn't faded away. She concluded by saying, "My years with Bert never leave my mind. He will be in my history and my heart for as long as I live." Although her words didn't match her actions, as she was very much absent during his burial, but she meant what she said about Bert, although she diminished it a few weeks later when she said Bert was important in her history, but only for a small part of their life. They only spent 3 years at a stretch and dated on and off for 2 years. Something happened between the two stars more than they are letting on for the public. However, whatever it was, there is no chance of a resolution, as Bert died of a heart attack in Florida. Until the end, he was still fully an actor and even ran lines and attended the script reading of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Despite the lows of his career, with films such as Paternity, Stroker Ace and Stick plummeting, his status as a box-office magnet, he lost the audience's favour as he further acted in lacklustre films. He traced his steps back to his familiar TV series, and from there he regained what he had lost. He won an Emmy and Golden Globe with one of the TV series, Evening Shade. His acting in Boogie Nights got him a Golden Globe alongside Oscar and BAFTA nominations. The man also got a Hollywood Walk of Fame. As Sally claimed, Bert was important to her, and so were his contributions to Hollywood. It was not easy for Sally Field with Bert. No wonder Sally had to recover from what happened between them. Why Sally Field used acting as a therapy. Watch this video and find out.